Welcome to a hopped up beer review live stream. We've done a couple of these and we decided to get together and do one tonight. So, gentlemen, we're not reviewing a beer. It's kind of weird, to do this kind of intro. But of course, I've got Jay. I've got Andy in the attic. I'm Ben. Appreciate you guys checking out this video or this live stream. If you're here, leave a comment. Let us know you're here. Say, hey, we'd love to chat with you. Gentlemen, what's up tonight?
Live stream looked like a pill from like Dr. Mario, the Tesla, the Tetris ripoff.
Yeah, I think we discussed that on the last live stream. So
it was so long ago and so many beers ago.
Yeah.
The beer pour that they do on that.
Jay's like, why are we talking? Let's drink beer. Wait, What are you drinking, Ben? Jay, excuse me. Shit.
I am Jay.
Yeah.
That's Ben. I am having the Elliott IPA from Ex Novo Brewing out of Corrales, New Mexico.
That's about to say New Mexico. We've done an Ex Novo.
Yeah, and they, you can review the history from our video, but kind of Seattle and Corrales are the two. But they have a tap room in Corrales, New Mexico, which is right across the river from Albuquerque. Really good stuff. So, cheers. Y'all not drinking?
Go ahead without us. Andy, what are you drinking today?
Oh, I'm no longer drinking.
You quit last night?
Yeah, I'm just here to do the research and talk about beer.
All right.
And imagine based on what it tastes like. Sorry.
I think your reviews going forward are going to be very interesting.
I drank tequila earlier, so I'm sorry. I'm like, but I'm about to crack in. I bought a bunch of brain cakes from Parrish. Oh boy. And I can't wait to get back into some brain cake because it's been 2 years since they brewed their last one. So I had to get to the store and get as many as I can. And I think I was counting. I think I still have 5 left. So.
Yeah, I too, like you, I think I've been through probably a case of them since it came back on the shelves. And there's still some in the store here.
Even as not the IPA guy, I can appreciate that beer. I like it. I'm going to go with a Corona Light here tonight.
Are you? Wait a second.
Of course not. I'm going to go with the Chimay.
2 kegs?
We'll go with the
You've
Chimay.
got 2 kegs.
I do have 2
in
kegs.
The pub shed.
Yeah, but they're right over there. It's like 2 arms distance away from me right now. So
you could have.
That might be, the next round. So, yeah. I'm going to have a Chimay here. We reviewed this recently. I'm going to put it in one of my favorite glasses, which is from the Rose and Crown Pub. I've got fish and chip. So.
And where is the Rose and Crown Pub?
It's at Epcot at Disney World. So.
I have my Delano Park 12-hour race cup.
Where's Delano Park?
Delano Park is in Decatur, Alabama. It's a park that I grew up going to and live nearby, but it's across the street from what used to be the high school, is now the middle school. It has a nice 1 mile packed gravel trail that they do a 12-hour individual race or a 50-mile race or a 12-hour relay race. And I've done the 12-hour relay race, I think 12 years in a row now.
Gotcha.
I don't look like
it. You look like a beer drinker.
Not a runner.
Yep.
My glassware is the inspiration. I was reading some of the comments on one of our others, and I forgot I had the Raise Your Pints Mississippi pint glass. was reading the O'Hanrahan's Curse from Key City Brewing earlier today, and we was responding or replying to one of the people commenting on it. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pull it out. Cheers, mates. That brought craft beer to the state of Mississippi, above 5%.
We can definitely cheers that.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
So I guess that's the equivalent of Alabama's Free the Hops organization.
Yeah, it would be. If you are out there and watching this and you're having a beer, leave us a comment. What are you sipping on here? And we definitely appreciate you joining in to our live stream. We don't do live streams that often, so we're probably, even worse at this than we are on beer review shows. So, but we appreciate you checking it out, and drop us a comment, say hello. We'd love to see that.
Andy wants it all scripted, like a fireside chat.
Well, we have to learn about what we're drinking and why we're drinking it.
Well, we've done this twice before. Jay was not able to join us because of inclement weather in his area. And we couldn't get together for a beer review tonight because, as is probably obvious, Jay is away from his home station where we typically record. I'm in the same place. I'm just sitting in a different seat, different spot.
Why are you sitting in a different seat?
It's just more comfortable here. I don't really have a backdrop here, which is, obviously why I don't do this for beer review. But I want to sit. I'm at the bar seat. I got the bar overhang. I got a little foot spot where I'm good. Usually I do a beer review kind of at the end of the bar over here. I've got that TV behind me just because there's something behind me. But I'll eventually decorate and get something over here and may even start doing it from over here. Who knows?
So this way you can watch TV while you talk to us.
Correct. Right? Yeah, I've got my 4 TVs.
Yeah. If it's more comfortable in your corner, in your creeper corner,
cozy.
Why don't you do that during our reviews?
Because I don't have anything behind me. That's once I get something back there. I think, I've had the pub shed now for about 3 months. I've been trying to figure out how exactly I want to decorate it and where a couple more pieces are going to fall in line. I really only have beer out here. I don't have any liquor. So I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Long time.
Where's George? He's the star.
He's over here taking a nap.
You did bring him.
I did bring him. He's sleeping. So he obviously didn't get the memo that we're doing a live stream.
We'll just throw something at him. Go. Pss, 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 pss.
He'll make an appearance before we finish, even if I have to go pick him up. So,
well, you cracked a Chimay and put it in a glass. Is it as tasty as we did?
It is. I love a good Chimay. This is the Sink Sense that we reviewed not too terribly long ago. So our review is out there. You can go check it out. Definitely, it was the first time we kind of had Chimay in a can. So wanted to give it a shot. I don't know. We've all had Chimay, but just not a can. So now the trick is, how do I get us back? There we are. Okay.
Oh, wait. Well, like I said, we have reviewed Brain Cake, and that was in our early, about 2 years ago.
That was one of our first 10 or so,
yeah,
wasn't it?
That was our first parish, and we've done a lot of parish. That was the very first parish, and interestingly enough, Brain Cake is like a combination of their flagship and their most popular beer, which we've not reviewed.
Canebrake.
It is a mix of Ghost in the Machine and Canebrake. Not like a mix, but it uses similar ingredients from the two and brings it into one.
So it's a wheated IPA?
Yeah, you'll have to go back to our review.
Go back in time 2 years, Jay.
Which was more than 2 years ago, and that's too many beers for me to remember.
You should have all these notes in front of you, like at any given time.
Oh my God. I do. You know what? I have saved there may be a few from the early days, and I don't know what, like, but I've got a binder now that I put all my notebook paper in, and I've got it saved, and it'll be in some landfill in the future. Nobody's gonna. It won't be in the
Somebody will
library.
find that in 100 years, and they'll be like, "Why
Yeah,
did this guy think all these
unfortunately,
notes
the
were weird?"
library, seeing that we're we're the lamest beer show with less than 30 reviews per beer, and nobody's gonna care.
Well, somebody might find that and eventually match it up to our beer show, and they may watch it. We may be long gone, and these videos are still out there on YouTube. Wouldn't that be weird? It's just kind of weird. If you're watching this 100 years from now, then cheers, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. All right, Jay, you didn't make it on the first couple of shows, so we actually had some questions we went through. Andy basically didn't answer any of them.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you answered very, very poorly.
What were the questions? I don't recollect.
Yeah, exactly. So Jay, I want to hit you with one of these questions just first off. What is your favorite beer? Do you have a favorite beer? Like,
okay.
if you think of all the beers, what's your favorite?
Well, goodness. No, I don't have a single favorite beer. I would have to go with either a top 5 or a top 10. Ben, I could imagine your answer was probably Boddington's.
No.
And Andy or Guinness, either one of those.
No, neither one of those actually.
Really? Did you answer it though?
I did. I didn't take. I did. Gosh, Andy, man. My favorite beer is Dark Swan from Lagunitas.
Wait, did you answer Dark Swan back then?
Yeah, he did.
I just want to take a time out to say miscellaneous beer reviews. Cheers.
Yeah.
Excuse me, miscellaneous brew reviews. Maybe my eyes aren't working so great.
They're not. You were watching the chat. I was not.
Cheers.
Thanks for stopping by. There you go.
No, I would, it'd have to be like a top 5. I don't think I could narrow down to a single favorite beer. There are some, I mean, if I had to pick one, it would be either, one of the Treehouse IPAs that I had, if you just wanted to say one beer.
I mean, that was the kind of the goal here. Yeah.
Interesting. A Treehouse.
Yeah.
And we have not reviewed a Treehouse. I would think for you, like a Barrel or Other Half would be.
No, you haven't had a Treehouse.
I haven't had a Treehouse.
So one of my work colleagues, he's from originally from Massachusetts, and he went there last year and bought like a case of beer. He got there right as it opened and went through the lines, and they were open during COVID. But when you would go there, from my understanding was you had to go online and purchase your beer tickets the day before or the week before, and then you could only go and get like 2 or 3 beers from the counter. And they actually have a drive-through where you can order your beer and they would bring it out to you. But when he sent me back the pictures, he was like, got there right as they opened, got in line, got a beer. It's a huge place, massive place. They specialize in IPAs, Julius, King Julius. Just trying to think of some of their others. But he said he turned around and they have like a queue. And it was like, 50 to 100 people in line right after that to get a beer.
I mean, craft beer was harder to get back then, I guess, too, especially from really good breweries.
This was last year.
Oh, last year. Oh, yeah. I thought we were still talking about COVID.
Oh, no. During COVID, it was tough, but Treehouse has always been, if you track IPAs top IPAs across the world, Treehouse is always in top 1, 2, 3, somewhere up in there. If you ever look on Untapped at the top IPA list that they have, Treehouse dominates it. So, like I said, Julius is their flagship. I think. Then they've done one called King Julius. Uh, but it's in Charlton, Massachusetts. So,
Yeah. I was looking that up.
yeah.
Well,
And Julius, I haven't had Julius. I've had their green, I've had their alter ego, and I've had their King Julius. And probably King Julius was the best. Ironically, at one of the concerts I went to last year, let's just say it's one of those popular jam bands, and I'm not one of those, but I do attend some of those from time
One
to time.
of
I
those.
can't believe Ben, not a pickle beer, Ben.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
just gonna say, Rex Road there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wesley.
But in the parking lot, they did have it's like a big party, like Jimmy Buffett's concerts or Widespread Panic or Fish or a lot of them. They always have a parking lot party, if you will, and always have vendors and things like that. Well, I was at one last summer and they had all of the top beers for sale just from a cooler in the parking lot. So I got one of the Treehouse. I think I got King Julius. I ended up with that Lawson's Sip of Sunshine that we had,
Yep.
and
Reviewed recently.
Heady Topper because we love the Heady, so
Mhm.
that was up there in the top. And I looked at the born on dates for those, and they were only like a week or 2 weeks old.
Oh wow.
I mean, like somebody had literally driven from Massachusetts down to Alabama for this concert and had a cooler full of beer. Now, granted, they were selling them for, I think they were selling for $10 a piece, but hell, I can't find them. So,
Yeah.
I mean, supply and demand, right? So,
Exactly. Wes, appreciate you check us out. Hey, Wes is somebody that we've done some beer reviews with. Appreciate him joining us here, and we've got some beer reviews coming up with Wes soon. So yes, no, my favorite beer is not a pickle beer, and I don't know why that would be a actual shock to anybody. Yes, Southpaw is a great beer. Non-alcoholic. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Andy, you're here. You could just talk. You don't have to post in the chat.
But it's more fun to troll on the actual.
All right.
So
My second channel, real quick, Jay. My second channel will be visiting Circle and Square in Oxford tomorrow. Awesome. So
you got
You will
one
not be
up for me.
disappointed. And they just introduced a new beer. So I'm jealous because I won't be able to get there to do it. So in
I thought
English
you were signing
pale.
autographs there tomorrow. Is that,
They're like,
no?
who?
No.
Yeah, I got to get over there. That's on my list for the fall.
Yum.
I think I'm going to try for at least a couple of games this year. I know in one of our text strings, we've been chatting about some of the games that we want to hit up. One of the guys that I played golf with yesterday, his daughter is in school there, and he's from the Virginia area, but he bought a couple of houses down there and has been renting them out. And he's like, I can't even get into my own houses for the weekends this year.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy fall in Oxford, Mississippi. That's for sure.
Yeah, projected to make the college football playoffs. Yay.
At least until that first loss, so.
Well, I think the biggest thing for that team is how do they gel? So,
yeah,
I mean,
we'll see.
It's just like the college basketball teams; they don't have any time together. Some of them just met. So,
yep, it's a new era for sure.
Ben, you'd mentioned the Dark Swan. I really don't even remember that, although
I do.
that
We've
was
talked about that several times because he's always
when
told
we
us ever since
when we're out at bottle shops, look out for Dark Swan.
Yeah.
But really, you said I was thinking either Guinness or Boddington's was your fave.
I mean, those are my
Old Speckled
favorite.
Hen was like a
Yeah.
third.
Again, it's a Boddington's. That would be my favorite filler beer. Like, my typical evening when we're not doing a beer review show is to grab a craft beer or two, or off of my draft system here, and then the last 2, 3,
Draft
6
system. You say your
beers.
taps, man.
My last 2, 3, 6 beers are Guinness or Boddington's typically. But I mean, I do have.
6 beers per night.
Jeez, Ben, how do you not weigh like 400 pounds? I mean, if you're drinking Guinness that much,
It's
and you
it's
don't
actually a low
exercise.
cal beer.
Yeah, Guinness isn't bad. But no, I actually have been drinking a lot more draft beer through my taps. I get typically right now I have one stout. I have Moonchild from Key City in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and then I have Mango Cart as well. So Mango Cart's kind of my lighter beer. But anytime you have a keg of beer, at some point you start getting tired of it. Especially if it's flavored in some way. So I'm getting a little tired of the mango on the Mango Cart.
It's a refreshing. It's a hot
But
time of
it's nice.
year.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm it's still good.
I'm
So.
seeing it everywhere. I went to the Brass Tap yesterday and met a buddy for a drink or two afterward to discuss other work, partnering on other things. And they actually had a new Braided River sour. It was a peach dreamsicle on draft.
I've seen that advertised. So
Yeah.
I've
It
seen
was,
that
it was
advertised.
pretty good. I had that
Nice.
one, and then I had the Paradise Lost. So Andy, yes, we don't know when Ben washed his shirt. It still looks like it came fresh off the printing press.
Off the rack on the back.
So Andy, what was your answer for your favorite beer?
I didn't.
Similar to yours.
Because Ben was true. I was like, my peculiar mind, if I have to choose a favorite, that means you get nothing but this beer for the rest of time. And so I'm like, well, geez, if I'm stuck with this one beer, there's so many factors that go into what I want out of a beer. It's the time of year. It's how I feel, the mood. Am I tired? Am I peppy? Is it hot out?
While you go through your checklist,
just missed the line. The check. Well, but yeah, you're gone. And Ben's already heard this spiel.
You just couldn't answer the question, could you?
I really can't.
Too much.
But
just make something up.
If I could have brain cake year round, I'd be a happy boy.
Yeah.
I can still hear you. You just can't see.
Do you get a refill? Is that
Parish? I'm just, Parish is our regional, just like some people can just get like other half and burial. I was like, if I could get that year round, that'd be awesome. But
see,
if I could get everything Parish supplies year round, like distributed to our area when they put it out, it'd be great, because I would be ordering, like, if our ridiculously lame state would allow alcohol to be shipped to it, every time they put out something for special order to deliver, to mail, I would get it. So, and there's so many collaborations, so many like alterations of Ghost in the Machine that they do. It's frustrating. And there's been like only one Parish that I haven't liked, and that was the Shandy, the
extra sauce.
Yeah,
none of us like that one.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Parish is one, and I live in the same type of state, Alabama. They just started wine, where you can ship wine to the house, but all of the vineyards have to register with the state in order to do that. So, you could have wine shipped to a state store, but you can't have beer shipped to a state store. So, it's the same problem. And And we've had workarounds for the things that we've dealt with on how we distribute and get things. But I'm the same with what you're saying. Parish Burial sends emails about their shipping sales all the time. Their stuff, and you say that about Burial, you would have thought that Burial or Other Half would have been one of my favorites. The problem with Burial and Other Half, yes, they do have their flagships that they keep on standards like Burial. I mean, Burial has their Surf Wax, and Other Half has Green City. And we reviewed both of those, I believe, at this point.
The
But
broccoli.
yeah, I love the other ones that change out. Like the broccoli is
Yeah.
not, it's become kind of one of their flagships. But some of those sours that Other Half has, I mean, they're outstanding.
Yeah.
I mean, you think back to the raspberry crunchy or the
The
uh,
crunchy.
Raspberry.
The strawberry.
incredible. I mean, the strawberry, eating the strawberry, that even
Eating the
logo,
strawberry. Yeah.
yeah.
Eating the strawberry.
And so there's another one that we have coming up uh, that'll be very interesting. It's called the berry mallow crunchy. Um, I had it on draft when I was at the brewery, and I picked up a 4-pack for us. Uh, and when I poured it into my glass earlier this week, there were chunks of berries that came out.
Wow.
So it's going to be an interesting one to see. It is very thick, um, and it's good. But I think, well, I'll just leave it there, and I'll be interested to see what you guys.
Yeah,
think.
yeah. They'll have to wait for the review. But it's great because you included that because Ben had a very special friend growing up named Barry who was rather chunky. And so it'll be a good segue into the beer and a nice trip down memory lane for Ben. You remember Barry? You talked about him fondly in college. I remember that.
So I'm going on, and I'm going to drink Savage Times.
Oh, I thought it said Sausage Times. I was going to say, all right.
This is by Bow and Arrow.
Okay.
Oh, hold on.
Bow and Arrow we have reviewed, right?
Let me do my job here. There we go.
There we go. IT boy.
Yeah.
So Bow and Arrow we have reviewed. It's out of Albuquerque. Savage Times. I've had this one before. In honor of June being Pride Month, thought it would be good to have a beer that celebrated
Yeah.
Pride Month.
Because Bow and Arrow, I remember from the review, I can't remember the name of the beer, but it had a very similar can art where it showed the landscape of
Scenic West.
Southwest.
Scenic West.
Yeah.
Is what we did.
There you go.
And I've been to their brewery. It's a great place. It's owned by a lesbian couple that are Indians, I believe, from the area. They make fantastic brewery.
Ben, Barry. Yeah.
Just Barry. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's just this is a beautiful moment, Ben and Barry.
All right.
So this is a sour IPA, Ben.
Sour IPA.
Yeah,
interesting.
Sour IPA, right?
I think I had one of those recently.
I'm trying to think if I've ever had a sour IPA.
It's a unique flavor. I mean, it's not bitter. It has the sour on it. It's 6%.
I swear I drank one recently.
Like I said, I've had this one before, so I was thrilled to get it again.
All right, next question here.
Yeah, these questions for Jay.
Well, this is a new one.
Okay. This is a different one.
A little bit. Where should corporate send us next? If you've got any thoughts there in the comments, definitely let us know. Corporate sent us on a brewery tour in Birmingham. Now it's been almost 2 years. So corporate's hopefully been saving up some funds to ship us out again. Where should they send us next? I'm going to agree with this first comment right here. Asheville should definitely be where we go.
I would
so,
love that, but I
Wes-
don't
Thank
think
you,
Nashville
Wesley.
can contain us.
Yeah. So, Wes, I'm going to agree with you 100%. We should definitely go to Asheville corporate. We know you're going to watch part of this video. Hopefully, it's this part. Asheville is the place to go. If there are any other thoughts out there, post them in the comments. I think another option, though, is Parrish, right? Parrish should be a good option for us.
You know what, y'all? I am going to do an untapped vlogging of the beer that I'm drinking with everybody in the background.
Oh, you don't want the solo layout, do you?
No, everybody. I want everybody in on this. You know what? Let me do the full screen. There we go. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates. Get that log in. We'll get close. All right. You got
and everybody can see
everybody in the chat who's
crap
here with us.
Of the attic, the boxes upon boxes. That's mostly Christmas decorations.
So, a logical question. We've debated this when corporate sent us next. We unfortunately, in 2022, we're 2022. We were going to go all have a brewery tour together. 2023, things just didn't pan out. So, I think 2024, we should try and figure something out, whether it be somewhat local, if we go even just to Circle and Square in that area with Andy, maybe that would be a go into a football game early on a Thursday or a Sunday or whatever. I don't know their hours. The other options we also talked about, going down and visiting Key City and Vicksburg and some of the southern Mississippi area. There's several breweries down there. Another option would be to come my way and hit some of the North Alabama, Huntsville area breweries. There's a handful that we've done in this area. Back 40 just opened a huge tap room and brewery, 5 minutes from here. So,
yeah, my second channel, if you're still watching, come back and comment after you visit Circle and Square. Let us know what you think. Love to hear that. Andy and I have both been there. In fact, the one time that I went, I was with Andy because he lives in the area. But let us know what you think of that brewery, what you think of some of the beers. Let us know what you try when you're there, if you keep up with it. And we'd love to hear your thoughts on the brewery. I think as we mentioned in a recent review, Andy and probably all three of us are a little bit biased. That review went out on Monday,
but the big ass pretzel is really good. I've had their sausage plates, really good, and I had their one of their hot dog, their grill dog it was like loaded with everything, really good. So they got food there, can't go wrong. It's walking distance to the Square, great restaurants, and if you probably are very familiar with Oxford if you're coming, recently. So it's not like going to be a first time thing for you. So, but the food there is good.
Yep. Oxford
is a special place. Voodoo chips. What?
Is that like a special? I know the chips.
Is that man.
Is that like a special reason to be excited about going to the brewery?
It means there's food. There's something sustenance. Zaps out of New Orleans? Come on, man.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm just saying, like, that would not be a comment that I would think to make about going to a brewery.
It means you could eat something and be satisfied.
They got a giant pretzel, for goodness sake.
They call it the big ass pretzel.
All right, Andy, did you bring more than one beer up to the attic? I see you still got plenty of brain cake.
No, I didn't, because I'm gonna have to pause and run downstairs to go get the next beer.
Yeah, okay.
It's all right.
We can pause.
I did that just a second ago. We don't have to pause.
We don't have to pause. Y'all
no, we're pausing.
Yourselves.
No, yeah, I'll talk. I'm going because I'm out.
Oh, okay.
And the only thing I haven't reached is my fake Corona that I was gonna,
Fake?
what's fake in the sense that I'm not gonna drink it. How about that?
Oh, okay. Well,
That's
you've
for,
got 2
that's
taps.
for friends and
Yes, I'm
family.
about to walk on the other side of this screen here and get some
Well,
beer.
I did have a
And you
question
have to
for Jay.
pause. Yeah.
No pausing. We can talk. Jay, first beer experience.
Oh wow. First beer experience. First beer experience that was memorable, or first beer experience?
It doesn't have to be a good beer. I mean, it's like
The first beer
who's got a
experience. I
good
was
first beer
probably
experience?
so I was a toddler.
I
And
was in diapers.
no, I wasn't in diapers.
I was shiting myself while I was
uh,
sipping on this wee heavy.
no. So first beer experience, I was with my parents, and I was just
I would
thinking
hope
that
so. Not
probably
some stranger.
no,
Not the
just
babysitter.
we were all over at family friend's house, and they were doing a big shrimp bowl, right? And so Dad tried to feed me a peeled bull shrimp. He peeled it and did all that and said, "Here, stuck it in my mouth," and he's like, "Eat that." And I'm like, "Oh." So I chew it up, and I'm like, I didn't like it. So I grabbed the first thing that was closest to me, and that happened to be Dad's Coors that had the old pull tabs. You remember the pull tabs on the
Of
beer?
course.
So he had, I think it was a Coors Banquet with the pull tab. So I grabbed
If it was
that,
a pull tab, it was a Coors Banquet. Yeah.
I took the chug off that. So that would technically be my first beer experience. I was probably, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there.
Well, you have a
And
great
so
memory because
it stuck with me because I thought I had taste aversion for years. Um, thank God it wasn't for beer, but shrimp has never been something I have enjoyed. I can eat shrimp like in gumbo or things like that, but eating like boiled peeled shrimp, I just had no desire, which is strange because I love crawfish.
I'm starting to think that Ben is not pouring your beer. Ben is going to the bathroom.
You know Ben too well.
Ben is the TWB of the group, teeny weeny bladder, and
Yeah.
I
So
hope he can hear us. I
I
hope he.
guess
There he is. There's Ben.
Busted.
glad you could put a little bathroom there in the pump shed.
Yeah, just
Or,
just
or
didn't
a
work
little
out.
urinal, underneath
Just
the bar.
just didn't work out, unfortunately. So, yeah,
So
I'm
I answered
still.
the first beer I had question.
I heard. I'm still working on my mango
Yeah.
cart. I'm getting it's a little foamy.
Yeah. Go like this. Do.
No, I'm not doing that. So I'll just let it
I'm
sit
having
for a
an
minute.
issue
Grease
with
from your nose.
There we go.
Are you trying to comment again, Andy? On
I'm
our
just
on
having
the
an
show?
issue. I was like, why was it doing this? I might be commenting.
Yeah.
Maybe I will now.
So what was y'all's first beer experience? I mean, was it similar
Well,
or worse?
I'll recant the story quickly, but it was on our other live
Yeah, I
stream.
know. It's on the other live stream. I could go
My
Can't even
first
remember what I said.
my first beer experience was in the Grove my freshman year of college.
What?
So,
That's I remember I was surprised back
Yep.
in January about this.
Yep. And as you mentioned then, I was about 130 pounds wet. So I'm chugging this beer because the person that gave it to me did not give it to me in a cup, which back then was a big deal. They just handed me a can. And, I'd never had a beer before.
Want the fuzz.
So, yeah. So didn't want to get caught with a beer can in my
You
hand.
get a buzz from that Bud Light. So
Oh, yeah, he would.
At that weight and without probably eating that day, yeah, that was probably the first thing I had. So, you know how the Grove was back when you're a poor college student. You're more or less begging for scraps.
Whatever you can get your hands on.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I'll give you another tip and insight into my world. Um, the taste aversion thing with shrimp and beer, it didn't, it favored the shrimp. So I never really loved shrimp. I've gotten more into it as I've grown older and gotten over it. However, there is one taste aversion that I can't do. Um, when I was uh, a teenager, we had indulged a little bit on some Bud Light, and I was not driving. One of my good friends was, and probably had one too many. And the first time my parents, uh, I guess if you would say, caught me drunk, uh, I had come into the house and mom and dad made a entire pot of black coffee and said, "You're going to drink this to sober me up." I proceeded to drink it, got sick, of course, and have taste aversion still to this day to any coffee. I do not drink
That's the
coffee.
coffee
There it
reason.
is. There it is. We learn it now.
Well, for
Now we
anyone
know.
who pays attention to our lame beer show, Jay is not the coffee guy, and he doesn't have caffeine, not just coffee, but caffeine.
But yeah, caffeine
And he
probably
tried to
50
tell us
years.
because he drank too many Mountain Dews one night and he got jacked up. Wesley, he's heard enough of this. It's a bad beer experience.
Yeah. Or
Makes
a bad
sense.
coffee experience.
Yep.
It didn't cause me to have the taste aversion to beer.
Thank goodness.
So, yeah.
Otherwise, we'd be doing some lame coffee review show.
Yeah.
There's some great coffees out there. Let me tell you.
Oh,
Once you go black, you never go back, man.
That's right. All right. Moving right along here.
What was Ben was the Bud Light in the Grove?
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember my first beer, but I remember stealing my first beer. And I can't remember if I said this on the January live stream, but me and my friend, and I don't know if I think we were junior high, spending the night because he couldn't drive. Neither of us could drive, so he was spending at the house. Took a Bud Light out of the fridge at home and drank it, and then we were walking around the neighborhood, and it was chilly because we had long sleeve shirts on, and pulling the long sleeve of the shirts and wiping the prints off of it.
Yeah.
And threw it in somebody's yard, so nobody will know.
Yep. All right, Vicksburg Police. You know now. He lives in Oxford.
No.
You can look for
We're in
him.
the county. Warren County Sheriff's Department.
Okay, there we go.
Come get me.
Yeah. All right. Maybe a question for all three of us. This is a new one here. Ooh, the anticipation. Favorite beer we have reviewed. And this is going to be difficult because now we're probably close to 400 beer reviews. Close, not quite there, but
The word favorite just
you don't like the word
gets
favorite.
to
No.
me.
I get on a kick, though. It's like favorite.
It's a commitment issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like the most committed person to the things you believe in.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the first one to walk down that aisle. So,
all right, wait a minute.
Too many beers.
let me get rid of this banner here because we got to hear. We got to expound here a little bit on the motion that Jay just gave. Andy, when's the last time you high-fived somebody?
I have not given a high five since September 4th, 2004. So in a few months, it's going to be my 20th anniversary of not giving a high five. Because I am an observant and follower of Seinfeld. and I watch, must-see TV Thursday nights back in the 90s. And it planted the seed because Seinfeld ended in 99. But, I watched so much of it. And the episode of the high five where he was there with Putty, and Putty was wanting to high five for every little ridiculous thing. And it just, it made an impression on me. So through the years, I just recognized that. And I had seen so many high fives for just the silliest things. It's, hey, you wear socks, I wear socks, high five. Hey, you want a beer? Hey, high five, let's go get a beer. It's like, no. It's like, as Seinfeld said, it's the lowest form of male bonding that there is. And so me and another one of our friends from college, after our college years, would sit together at the football games to watch Ole Miss play. And the point that I came to, my full awareness of it, we were watching this game, and we had already finished school. We were in our jobs in our professional life, but we were still young and wanted to be in the mix of the undergrad. So we were sitting at the edge of the in the student section, but at the edge. And we noticed this row of meatheads in front of this row of girls, college girls. And for every single positive play that our dear Rebels made, whether it's a first down or maybe they blocked a, pass or something like that, whatever, they would high five each other and then turn around and high five everybody in their general vicinity. And so the girls would high five. Well, later on in the first quarter, doing good, they kept high fiving and turning around and high fiving these girls. They weren't together. They didn't know them. And so at one point, the girls started turning to each other after they high fived the guys, reciprocated their high five. They turned around, to each other like, they rolled their eyes like they were tired of the high fiving. They didn't want to high five these guys, but yet they continued to do it. So it's like, if you don't want to do it, why do you continue to do it? Because you're worried about their feelings, and all this, and like so many observing meathead things through the years and Seinfeld putting it into my brain. I'm like, you know what? I turned to our mutual friend Joey, and I was like, I'm done with high fiving. I'm not going to high five anymore because it's been on my mind. It's like, it's an overused practice. Yes, there are high five worthy moments, but I'm done with it. And so from that day on, September 4th, 2004, we were playing University of Memphis. I'm done with high fives.
Would not even high five your daughter.
Yes. My daughter early on learned to say that daddy's high five is broken.
Yes.
But it is a wonderful lesson in self-discipline and response to a certain statement or behavior.
So do you know the history of the
self-control?
high five?
Roughly, it was a baseball player, was it the 70s, making after he hit a home run, coming around third, coming home.
It was the 80s.
80s, okay. It was old. I just remember it was an old picture. Was it the Padres?
No, Dodgers.
Dodgers.
There's a fantastic ESPN short on it in their 30 for 30 series called The High Five. It's only about 10 minutes long, and it's a great history of the high five. I thought about you, Andy, multiple times when I watched it. So
I've read a rough, a rough description of the moment, but yeah. But you know what? Early on, it was very difficult. It's a Pavlovian response because if somebody puts up their hand like that to give you a high five, it's an automatic. It's like somebody shaking your hand. And through the years, it's you learn to it's a lesson in self-control. It's kind of cool,
So
and I think for the better, it teaches you not to fly off the handle. So it's like, you pause, you assess the situation, and
you deny people obviously for
I've got a
multiple
lot of
reasons.
denials.
Yeah,
It's
and
beautiful.
it's interesting you mentioned that response. The Pavlovian response, because during COVID there were a lot of people. And a lot of people were encouraged. Let's bump elbows,
The old
don't do the
elbow.
Uh, so yeah, I still remember several times reaching out to shake people's hands, and they'd be like, "Oh, oh here." Like, are we a monkey now? Oh, yeah. I get it. They're uh, tragic times, but
Well,
I
Andy,
also
when I see you, I'm still giving you a hug. So, you still get a hug. I know how much you
I've
hate
got
it.
no problem with personal contact and touching. It's not that. I'm not a germaphobe.
No,
So
I know it's not that. You usually look at me weird when I give you a hug. Maybe it softened a little bit as you've gotten older. Maybe that's it. So maybe.
dude, Trillium really big bird. Nice.
Yeah.
last beer.
Cheers, last beer. Thanks for
The next beer.
Oh,
checking
that's
in.
the one that I've been wanting. Trillium Really Big Bird. So one of my good friends and work colleagues had said that was one of the best Trilliums. Is the Really Big Bird. He rated it almost. I think he rated it a 5 on Untapped. And I mean, he's got like, I don't know, it's like 6 or 7 thousand Untapped check-ins, and he only started in 2017 or 18. I mean, I've shown you guys his stuff,
Yeah.
but Really Big Bird's the one that he rated and said it was probably one of the best ones ever. So cheers to that one. I'd love to get that. If you know a way that you could make that find its way to us, we would really appreciate and love you.
Yeah. Yeah. 4-pack from the bottle shop. So
That's a great bottle shop then.
yeah.
Yes,
Tell us
it
your secret.
is.
Yeah. We need to know
Speaking
where
of
this
bottles,
bottle
I
shop
got to
is.
get me another beer.
Wow. Should have come prepared.
Yeah,
But
stuck
obviously he
talking to
did not.
me now, Ben.
Yeah. That's all right. Andy tends to monopolize the conversation anyway. So
I mean, this is just like every beer review that we do. I mean,
yeah.
it starts with you and me for the first 10, 15 minutes, and then Andy just shows up.
Yep. All right. Last beer in Virginia outside of Richmond.
Right. Okay.
So,
Interesting.
Jay, that'll be something to kind of keep in mind. As I know you don't go in
I
the
don't make it to
Richmond area.
Richmond, that
Yep.
area, very often. I'm usually more in the DC area, or the down in the Dahlgren area. But I might just have to drive that way.
Yep.
Thank you, Last Bear.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you guys checking us out here on a live stream. This is not something we've done very often, but we couldn't do our normal beer review tonight. So again, we wanted to hop on the live stream and just enjoy a beer with each other, chat a little bit, and appreciate you guys tagging along for that and commenting. And if you don't mind, go ahead and hit that like button. We would appreciate that support as well.
We end up sharing more personal details. I almost feel like I'm going through another security questionnaire.
You think of it as a round of the therapist, right? It's partly.
Yeah, that doesn't really
Partly.
work in the profession, but thanks.
Yeah, true. All right. So what do we think Andy's going to come back with? Is he gonna? He said he had a bunch of brain cake. I think he's had one. He's had some
Started with the
tequila
brain
tonight.
cake. He's had tequila. He's going to come back with something. Ooh, that's a good question. Because he's got a variety of beer. Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good.
Sounds great, Last Beer.
Yep.
My guess with Andy is he's going to come back with something unique that he got at Hop City,
Yep.
because he's been able to do that the last several months, traveling back and forth, and so he'll probably come back with something unique.
Yep. And yes, we are on Instagram. We are streaming this on Instagram as well as YouTube right now, hopefully. But we are Hopped Up BR at Instagram. So on Instagram. So yeah, you can check us out there. Give us a follow. We will follow you right back. Last beer, appreciate that. So yeah, I think it's interesting since we've started doing this show. Andy's attic is looking a lot better than it did before we ever started. So
Oh, I know.
between,
Look, you can see the ping pong table right there.
yeah,
We're gonna play some pong,
usually what he's sitting in front of. But
or
yeah,
where the Christmas tree goes,
correct.
in
Um,
seasonal times.
yep, absolutely. All right, so Jay, since you missed some of these questions earlier,
Yeah.
we're going to go back to you on this one. Favorite style of beer?
Oh, that's easy.
What would you
Come
say?
on now.
IPA. Yeah, that's gonna be easy for you.
I mean, that would be the IPA. If you asked me that probably 5 years ago, well, 10 years ago, it definitely wouldn't have been the IPA. Oh, look at that. So 10 years ago,
Sorry.
probably would have been a wheat. Now it's IPA. And honestly, with the beer review show, it's opened my will of palate tremendously. There's a lot of things I probably never would have tried had we not done this show. Some of the porters, the stouts, definitely the sours. I've become more of a sour fan through the show. I don't know why that is, but
Yeah,
um,
yeah, it
a
definitely
lot of
flexes that muscle a little bit, if you will. Doing the beer review show, it's been a lot of fun. It's been one of the really interesting things. I think I think we all before we started the show, we were all texting about different beer we were trying, especially through COVID. We started this kind of right after COVID was kind of coming. You were coming out of COVID, and it was we were all talking about just this beer that we'd found and what we were trying and what we could get our hands on during COVID, and that kind of led to the show. And then as we start uh, forcing is not the right word, but as we start forcing each other to drink these different beers for the review show, it's been really fun to see what you guys pick out for each of us, to do for the show. It's been fun to get your responses on some of the beers that I already know I like and that sort of thing. So it's been one of the really
and
interesting.
honestly, it's gotten me to where there's one or two bottle shops that I'll go to that they sell everything in singles, and so when I go in, I'll go buy 10, 12 singles to try over a 2 or 3 week period and see if there's one or two that I really like that would be great for us. So it's definitely expanded, and a lot of the international areas, some of the German, Belgian, some world stuff, I probably wouldn't have ever tried some of that had it not been for the beer review show. So,
Yeah.
but yes, still my favorite style would be the IPA. I'm going to default to that. You look at the favorite breweries I have: Treehouse, Trillium, Alchemist, Other Half, Parish. They're all very heavy on IPAs. Parish not so much, but Other Half definitely is.
Yeah.
They're all heavy IPAs. Oh,
Speaking of,
that is such a tease. I can't find that one here. I can get the greetings from Supermort Point, which I tell
would you
you,
like some?
I would. Um,
Coming your way.
I think we need to add the Supermort Point to the review. I know we have the Emerald Coast in inventory, but
I thought you included the Supermore point.
I have. Yeah, I just wanted
That's
to
in
make
the
sure.
view, yeah.
Yep. Okay. It is a fantastic breakfast, Berliner Weiss.
All right. So Andy, that is one we have reviewed as well. A
Yeah.
long time ago. Again, you're picking
And
the
just
oldies
like
but the
2 years,
goodies.
this has
That's
been
the
the it's been 2 years. Come to me, IT boy.
Yeah, there we go.
It's been 2 years since they brewed this.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
oldies but the
I
goodies.
was actually
It's not a
surprised
seasonal.
that they
It's
came back
limited,
to
very
it.
limited.
Yeah. I had that recently as well, though. It was
Yeah.
quite excellent. So
I'm trying to
Yeah.
grab it in as much as
in
I
bulk.
can.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm going to open up one more here.
Not your Corona?
No,
Yeah,
I'm gonna match my glass here. Go with my UK Rose and Crown.
I will be right back.
Yes. So I know if
Oh, okay.
Slurpy Dave
got
happens to catch this later, he's going to tell me how shite this beer is. But
Because yes, in the Manchester, it's not made like it used to be.
yeah. So
We've got a lot of great comments here.
how did I miss those? There we go.
Thank you, Last Beer, for following us.
Yeah, we looked that up while you were gone. How do we all get the same beers? Great question, Harry.
Logistics.
Yes, it's
we're a triangular fashion, right? We live in a triangle.
Yeah,
We do.
So Andy and I live about 2 to 2.5 hours apart.
It's at least 2.5 hours apart.
Yeah, 2:15.
And Andy and I live about 3 hours apart.
Yeah. So it's we have some mules that will carry beer for us back and forth because there's definitely between Andy and I, there is a line of people that go up for football games and basketball games and family that comes back and forth. So we will have them carry beer. Jay is a little bit more difficult just because we don't head in that direction, or a few people do. But we just we'll collect beer individually, and then we just all figure out a way to get it. And typically when we're exchanging beer with Jay, it's in large amounts. So, but to that point, we've had earlier this year we had about 60 or 65 beers that we had for the show. So it's we're able to collect them and spread them around. Some of the beer obviously we can go for, like Macro Monday, we can go pick up, we can all get, but a majority of it is just spreading it around.
Typically,
well, and you could tell them about the debacle we had with the Brewers Advent calendar this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or this past year. I mean, it.
So the Brewers Advent calendar sold at what?
Costco.
Is it?
Costco.
Yeah, and so different Costco's. Well, all of the beers were not the same in the Brewers Advent calendars. Apparently, the pallets are all mixed. So we had to mix and match, and we ended up releasing early for that reason last year. And people got a couple of extra reviews in. We had some shorts and things like that we did to make up for that. I think I ended up with like 7 new beers that we hadn't tried. So I did 4, 5 or 6, 7 different shorts on those.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, getting all the same beers. Typically, the answer, Harry, would be we all grab 3 of something that we like or 3 of something that interests us. Ben loves can art. As do I sometimes, but certain breweries like I travel. I used to travel a whole lot for work. I don't do as much now, but still do a good bit. And when I visit certain areas, that's why you see certain breweries from certain regions of the country, the kind of the Southwest or the Rockies or up in the Virginia area, and then as much as we can get from the Northeast, we try to. But definitely the South is where we all are from, so that's why you see a lot from the South.
Well, the way I was thinking, we do a lot of traveling. Well, y'all do a lot of traveling. I do an occasional travel. The Tales of Gold.
You remember what happened last time? There was a
chunk issue.
Yeah, and this is actually we just released this video today, so
I had
if you
that
have not,
happen in 2 or 3 of mine, and this one does not have a chunk at all.
wow,
But
you didn't have a
2
chunk;
or
you had a
3
huge loogie in your beer.
That
but that happened in
was
2 or 3 of the ones that I had. This one
Yeah.
is pure. So
Yeah, that video is released today. Go check it out if you have not done so, and you
So
will
it's so
see the
appropriate.
massive
Come on.
loogie. You will see the massive loogie that Jay had in his beer.
It's perfectly appropriate for today.
Yeah.
All right.
Start a can museum. I'm kind of
And
somewhat embarrassed to say this. I have every can or bottle that from every show we have done, plus
Yes.
any others that I've had that I had not previously had in that time as well. My wife is about tired of me collecting them all. Currently, they all fit in my closet, and it is soon going to be overflowing because it's at this point, again, not just show beers, but also beers that I drink. If I have a can, I keep it. If I've got a Biden's can, I've already got one of those. I'm not going to keep 2 of them, but I keep one of everything. And so I've got probably about 600 bottles and cans at this point. And I don't know what to do with them. I started keeping them because I built this pub shed. I say I built it. I didn't really build it. I had somebody build it for me. But my thought was, I'm going to need something to kind of decorate stuff because I've got these open walls. And I thought, hey, I may have some cans and bottles around, and I still may, but nowhere am I do not have the room to put that many.
could you take the sheet metal out of the cans? I mean, some of them are labels that go on cans, obviously. But could you take the tops and the bottoms off and fold them out, or just fold and cut out like part of it and make it into a big collage or something along those lines?
I thought
I don't
about
know.
doing that. Yeah, I thought about doing
I'm
that
not
around the
afraid.
bar because I've got this wood bar. I've thought about doing it around the bar, and I've got a little bench over this wood. I've thought about it. That's way too much freaking work. I'm never going to do it. So
just need shelves, little boards with some L brackets on the walls.
I know. That's where I'm going with it. I'm just not going to have that many.
You know what you need? A big recycling bin that takes all of them.
That's where they're probably going to end up. So, but great question. I think I think it'll be interesting. We'll see which ones I actually keep. I'm kind of partial to our first, I don't know, 5 or 10 shows, right? It's
Okay.
yeah. So it's I definitely will keep the first one, right? That's definitely going to be one that I keep and display, and that'll probably be it. I used to think, hey, I would put them all in order, So, but I'm not going to do that. I just don't have the room. I got other stuff I want to put up here, so it's just not going to happen. But yes, can museum. I could do it if I had the room. I just don't have the room. So, yeah. So, Andy, your beer there. Did you get that poured out? Are you actually sipping on it yet?
I've been sampling.
Yeah, he showed it to us.
Yeah, the Landmass. It's a Berliner Weiss. Their Welcome to series that highlights Parish out of southern Louisiana, Broussard. Highlights locations across the Gulf South, the third coast, excuse me, not the left coast, the third coast. And we want to keep it a secret, but the Gulf Coast, the beautiful waters of the sand, the white sands and green and blue waters. And lately, shark
right now
attacks.
You keep getting the shark attacks. So.
Yeah.
But we do have 2 in that series that are in inventory that will be coming up in the next couple of months.
What are the 2? Sippermont Point. What's the other one?
Live from Sippermont. Greetings from Sippermont Point, which is the state park right there down the street from the brewery.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have greetings from the Emerald Coast.
Emerald Coast, yes.
Yeah.
And that is the western shores of Florida on the Panhandle, called the Emerald Coast, Pensacola region.
So there's two more in that series, and I love that series. I wish they would do that more.
Yeah,
I
and
I was thrilled to see that one, and jealous of you guys.
we reviewed this in spring-ish of 2022. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. What did we say?
Whatever I say.
It's been a while.
Pineapple, orange,
It was-
lime,
it was
pomegranate,
early
and
beer.
almond.
Yep.
That was when I was still looking down in the well to do the reviews.
We're glad you got some upgrades there in the attic. We were
On
commenting
wireless.
on the lights and the the other little. I guess we didn't comment on this specifically, but the blue and the green dots that you have behind you, the little motion thing.
That was like a gift, like stuff that my daughter used to decorate her lounge, and
Now
she
it's
didn't use
being
it anymore. So I was like, hey, this would make a cool decoration in my beer attic.
There you go. So, what are while we're talking about the beer attic, how are attic tours looking? Are you getting how many are you doing a day? How many people come through?
They're 24/7.
Right.
You just got to come up and ring the doorbell, and you'll get an attic tour.
Okay.
It's kind of like Graceland 2 in Holly Springs.
Yeah. Back
Where the dude would just 24/7, just come up and you'll get the all Elvis tour in his house. So it's all attic all the time.
And that was back before Ring cameras. Like, that was just amazing. He would greet you before you got out of the car.
Well, he also had a 45 in the shelf next to him, and that's why he actually died, because somebody tried to break in while he was doing it. He shot him. Remorseful. A couple of days later, died of a heart attack over the stress of it.
That's right.
Paul McLeod.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Paul McLeod, who named his son Elvis Aaron Presley McLeod.
Yeah. Maybe you should not do 24/7 attic tours then.
Hey, Graceland is in jeopardy right now, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's in the courts now.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
We will be following that closely here on Hopped Up Beer Review. But yeah, attic tours, they continue. If you're in the Oxford area, hey, my second channel, right? Yeah, you're going to be in Oxford tomorrow, attic tour. So you have to stop by and check that out.
There you go.
You're charging for attic tours, right? They're not free.
I mean, there's a donation. There's no charge, but it's guild to honor system.
Okay. Tip jar kind of thing. These days.
Yes. Yeah. It's
They're
tip
everywhere.
culture now. Thank you,
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah. All right. Well, what else we got for the live stream? Let's see if I got any other questions here that we want to run through.
Are we through with the questions? We good?
I mean, I asked favorite beer that we reviewed, and we kind of skipped that for the high five question. So I don't know. I could definitely tell you my least favorite beer that we reviewed, and that's Spicy Pickle Monster.
That's an easy one.
Wes alluded to that earlier here in the chat.
I think my least favorite, if it wasn't banana bread, it was the Sucker Punch. I think Sucker Punch was worse than the spicy pickle monster. It was just you couldn't taste beer. It was just you could just taste pickle juice.
Yeah, but banana bread, that was the one you want to take on a desert island, right? I mean,
you did some crafty editing to make it look like, oh yeah, that's the one
that was your favorite. No. Okay. All right. Jay,
Yeah,
what do you think?
The other day I saw banana bread in the store.
Yep.
Favorite,
least favorite? Either or both.
A lot of the favorites, I mean, they're the heavy IPAs where we've done Heady Topper, Focal Banger, several of those from Burial that have the 16-word names because they love coming up with their creative names. They're really good. So those are some of my favorites. I was trying to just think through least favorites. I'm not. You guys know me. I don't rate down on a big scale. I mean, I'm pretty flexible on most of them. Um, I don't know. Let me think about that for a second or two.
All right, I'm going to give you
Um,
my favorite then while you think about it. And it's not necessarily because of the beer. It's
yeah.
because of the situation and everything involved in the review, I guess. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
I probably could have phrased the question into that, but I didn't think about that until just now. I really like the, and I can't think of the name of the beer. What was the Kenyan beer? That
Tusker.
Bernard,
Tusker.
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 Bernard joined us. Bernard is a local there in Oxford, and owns a wine and spirit shop there. Safari Wine and Wine and Spirits. Is that the name
Safari
of it?
Wine and Spirits. Yeah.
Yeah. Funny how that works. But he joined us for a review. He brought a beer back to us from Kenya and did the review with us. Andy joined him there, left the attic and joined him there. And that was a fun one because you could see how passionate he was about the beer. And, was it the best beer I've ever tried? No. Was it a really good beer for a macro? Yeah, I thought it was a very flavorful beer for what it was. So I think that was probably one of the more fun reviews we've had. Again, just because we included Bernard in that, and he had
Yeah.
provided that for us and brought it all the way back from Kenya. So it's the first beer I've ever had from Africa, that I
Yeah.
can ever remember. So that was really cool. So definitely appreciate that. And then the next time I was in Oxford, I actually went by and stuck my head in his copy store right next door because the liquor store was closed. And
It
he
was
looked at me.
open. He's just like, he runs both of them. He's like,
Yeah.
if you want me, the sign says go to the copy store. And
Well, it was during spring break. College, students were out
Yeah.
of town. It was kind of
still
quiet.
open. There's
So
locals who
yeah.
need their liquor.
So I went in and said hey to Bernard, and he had no clue who I was initially. When I told him, hey, we did the beer review show, he was like, oh yeah. So anyway, that was
Some white boys look the same.
yeah.
So
So anyway,
I'll take your thread, and I completely agree. That was a unique show. That was a great show, just because of the energy in it, and being Andy being on site. A couple of the others that I really liked from our standpoint. I like the Zingao, Zingu,
Shingu.
Shingu.
Shingu, the Brazilian black lager. Um, Never had that before, but since then when I've seen it, I've picked up a couple 6 packs. That was a fantastic beer.
Really good beer.
And I never would have done that had it not been for the peer review show. Other ones that I've really loved, some of my favorites, uh, Creature Comforts Tropicalia, out of
Yes.
Athens. I love that beer. I mean,
Thank you, Ty.
me and Ty, that goes way back to some of our roots. It's a good beer. Uh, it also reminds me of the one from Heavy Seas, Tropicanon, which was one of my
Those are
gateway
really good beer.
beers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are some. There have been some other fun ones. I mean, Totality was a cool one out of
Yeah.
the California brewery.
50-50, right?
Yep.
50/50, yeah. And so I've got several of their eclipses that are just the barrel aged that I've got cellaring. If we ever get together again into the future, hopefully in the fall, we can all sit down and have a couple of beer reviews on some of these big stouts or things that we have. I've actually picked up one. I really loved our Birmingham district brewery tour.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. It was a gem that I didn't know about. It was right there in the medical district. They don't can they basically can off of their kegs when their bartenders have time, and then they sell just there. They don't distribute. Um, so every time I go to Birmingham, when I used to visit my heart doctor down there, I would go to Birmingham District and pick up some beer, and their stuff is really good. I picked up a 750 milliliter uh, double chocolate stout that they had made, and I've been saving that one for the next time that we get together because I think that is a specialty one that they had done dipped in wax, and I thought that would be a really cool one for us to revisit Birmingham District. So those are some of the ones that just pop into my head right offhand.
Yep, and I'll screen here because I have it on my other screen, and I see some comments here on Instagram because we are
Oh, really?
streaming there as well. They
We are?
obviously do not feed into YouTube,
Which is a
but
shame.
Joey C. Fletch.
Uh,
I mean, what kind of a weird name is that?
Mr.
He
Mythos.
sees a big recycling bin on his screen, and he spelled bin in my name. So I guess don't know what that means exactly, but I know where
What does
you
he have
live.
to actually say? Can he contribute to the stream?
I know where you live, Joey C. Fletch. So just keep that in mind. I might just dump them all in your front yard. so,
That would be funny.
Who,
All right.
Joey C. Fletch should be joining us for a Miller Lite review, but you know he's ghosted us for like almost 2 years now.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
else? Any other on Instagram?
Discuss worst beer experiences.
I blocked
Worst
most of those out.
Yeah. Those are all probably about 20 years old at this point. You know, I mean, other than the spicy pickle monster itself, that was pretty bad.
I'm not talking. It's not referring to the show. It's like
that
your
was
whole life.
That was still up there. So,
I'm not going to go down that path.
Yeah, I don't think that's one we want to visit on for this show.
I've got reasons.
I probably, it's the mind allows you to forget certain things so that you can keep having a beer, and I think that's what my mind has done. I mean, I know we had many a keg party back in our fraternity days that, when you've got a keg full of beer and you're young, it doesn't always equal to the best experience, especially for the next morning.
Yeah, but at that age, there's not like bad beer. Now that out of college and you've had enough good beer, what's a bad beer? Not just the beer, but the experience. I mean, you know what? It could be college. You could have had too much in college, and you're like, "Oh, this beer was horrible. Why did I keep drinking it?"
I've definitely had beer, and so when I lived in New York, I definitely had beer that I could tell that something was off about the beer, right? And typically now that I have some taps and I have a kegerator and whatnot, I think that if the lines don't get cleaned, a beer is not going to taste right, right? You ever get a beer that just has a little bit of it's not even, it's off, and it's off to bad. But there was a bar around the street from me when we lived in New York on the Upper West Side called Bourbon Street. I actually have a sign right up here over the door that you cannot see that came from that bar.
Bourbon Street.
Yeah. Bourbon Street was cool at that age because they had 50-cent draft they had it every Friday and Saturday, I think, from it was like they'd have it from until 5 p.m. and then they would pick it back up at like 9 p.m. So 50 cent draft. Yeah. And then
50 cent draft.
yeah. And I
Was
went
it
back a couple
Pabst?
years. It was Bud Light. I went back a
Oh,
couple
wow.
years later, and it was $1. They'd gone up on us, but
But
50
they
cent
never
draft when I
cleaned
lived
those
there.
lines.
That's pretty impressive.
That's
Those lines were dirty as hell.
for the amount of beer that went through that. Yeah, I think that they probably didn't clean them often enough. But I drank plenty of 50 cent draft. But I think it's on the flip side, actually, Jay, is some of the beer that they had that was a little more craft. If I would try one of those, it would just taste off because nobody ever ordered that there.
Right.
It was kind of somewhat of a college bar in a sense, or a young
I think
professional
that's
bar.
I mean, a lot of the, and you and I know, and now, and I think that's why they do a lot of them. But a lot of the tap rooms, like the one I go to, they have like I think 30 taps, and they're mainly using sixtels, which
Yep.
You're getting what 50, 60 beers out of a sixtel if you're
Sixtel is 41, 42.
41. So
Yeah.
you're not getting a whole lot of beers out of that,
Right.
and you can go through that over the course of a month. I mean,
Yeah.
people are going to order that, if not in a matter of a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So,
and these days now, the distributors, at least here in Mississippi, will come in and clean the lines because they want their beer to taste as fresh as possible.
yeah.
So they'll actually
Now,
provide that to a lot of the brew pubs.
I will say I had one last week. It was in a can and it was a nitro. So, one of those you're supposed to pour, turn upside down, right? It was a peaches and cream nitro sour from a local brewery. I'm not going to name it. And when I took that first sip, it tasted metallic, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what it is." There's a few beers that you get that metallic taste,
Yeah.
but I can remember several of those, and then the one or two of the worst ones that I've had. Not that we've reviewed, but one of the worst ones I had was from a brewery that is now local, and I love their beer, but that one I picked up a 6-pack, and I don't know if it had gone bad or something had gone wrong, but it was one of the worst beers I had ever had.
Yeah. And we've had that with some of the beers that we've bought that have already been out of date by a year. I think back to,
I mean, by the time we buy it, we don't realize it.
yeah. And I think back to what was the Montana beer?
Summer ale from the one in Montana.
Yeah.
Was not
Big Sky.
good. Big Sky. Not
Yep.
good.
Sky Brewing.
Their goat pale ale, whatever that was, Space Goat. That was
Goat.
good.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
And they had the moose.
The moose
drool.
Okay.
drool
Brown.
was the brown was good.
Yeah.
And that's their signature. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, I mean,
Boo. That summer ale was
some of
bad.
them, it can be
Yeah.
a crapshoot when you get them in those mixed packs and things.
Sure.
Like that.
And when you're buying them at stores that aren't bottle shops, and you're buying these mixed packs that maybe they don't fly off the shelves, and that's what we've seen. And I got that in Steamboat, and I've gotten, we've reviewed stuff here recently, not too far back, that we realized, hey, yeah, this beer is a year past the best buy date, and I bought it 3 months ago. So I'll have to be more mindful of that when I go and purchase some of that beer.
It happens. I mean, when we purchase things,
Sure.
we're not going to look at those most of the time.
Yeah, I'm too enthralled with what can I see that I don't have access to on a normal basis. So anyway, well, I think it's about time to maybe wrap this up. What you guys good with that? You got anything else to share with those out in the interwebs at this point?
No, I enjoyed it. It's like a fireside chat.
Yeah, a little
Fireside
different than our
chat.
normal.
Yes. My plan for the country.
Exactly. It's a little different than our normal review, but if you haven't checked out our beer reviews, we'd love for you to do that. We would appreciate that. Appreciate a like on that. If you haven't subscribed to us, that'd be fantastic as well. You don't have to, but it's free to do. And if you have any additional
Harry,
comments,
thanks for sitting with our lame beer show.
Yeah, if you have any additional comments, you can add those here, there, everywhere. Yeah, definitely, Harry, appreciate you checking us out and joining us, commenting. Definitely appreciate that, and definitely look forward to maybe doing another one of these again not too long. I mean, I think this was fun. It's something different. I enjoyed it.
I think every 6 months is good.
Every 6 months, that's our interval.
Not be good.
Yeah. All right.
Andy doesn't like to share.
He just doesn't like to talk to you and me unless it's record.
Yeah.
Go.
Griffin, yeah.
Structured environment. This.
No, but definitely appreciate you guys, and appreciate you guys checking out this video and all our videos. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates. There's beer in there.
Cheers, mates. There it is.
How much tequila did you have before the show?
A bit.
All right. Thank y'all. Good night.
Good night.
Yo.